something I've always found interesting when it comes to women in the dating market is their lack of accountability and the fact that they hate accountability or they avoid or dodge accountability for anything. This is typically why they get into relationships that they get into because they don't have to be accountable. They can hold somebody else accountable for all intents and purposes. This is typically why women date the men that they do because they can always hold them accountable for their actions and they never have to be held accountable or culpable for their actions. Something I've always noticed when it comes to women, we always hear the rhetoric of, men hate strong women or men are scared of strong women when in fact it's actually the vice versa, or is nothing more than projection. This is Vedic Ghost. Like, subscribe, and share. The problem with that is it's nothing more than projection. It's a big, huge projection of what's actually going on with women. Women actually fear men that will hold them accountable. Women actually fear men that will call them out on bullshit or call bullshit or, give them that, where they twist their lips to the side and look at them like, okay, right, shut up. It's things like this that people fail to realize when it comes to women. Women never want to be held accountable. And anytime a man holds a woman accountable, she feels inadequate or less than, or she doesn't quite add up. Because at the end of the day, the minute a man can hold a woman accountable, all her dreams and her whole entire world of illusion basically starts vanishing and crumbling around her. And that's the best way I could put it. Her whole entire world of illusions crumbles around her because now he's actually holding her accountable for her actions. And this is something that women hate, to be held accountable for their actions. It's not the fact that they hate it. They typically fear men who actually hold them accountable to their actions because it's typically the vice versa where they're trying to hold another man accountable for actions. Even if they failed, they're trying to hold him accountable for those actions. Whereas if a woman has a man in her life that's holding her accountable for her actions, it's something that she tries to shy away from because in this society, in a gynocentric world, typically women can avoid these types of things. And by various reasons, plausibility, deniability, basically. Plausible deniability basically is a way that women typically avoid shit like this. Or they pretend like they didn't see, or they ignore, or they just ignore and shit along the lines of that because at the end of the day, when you hold a woman accountable, your response would always be, "You have too much faith in me," or "You are placing too much faith in me," or stuff like this. This is typically when you start seeing women starting to actually really start to look at themselves because typically, I have a lot of female friends that I just basically had obtain and get rid of on a yearly basis, basically because they can't live up to expectations or they end up self-destructing because they don't want to grow as human beings for all intents and purposes. So I end up saying New Year's resolution, get rid of unnecessary friends. And the sad part about that is typically a lot of them end up being women. I mean, like one guy might go every year, but typically most of them are women because typically women never want to have to be accountable or be culpable for anything that they do in their lives, and they want to be able to place all that onto somebody else to be accountable or culpable for their lives, even if it's their own life, even if it's their own house, even if they're an independent woman. They typically always push the culpability and or those things onto other people for this reason, because by doing this they don't have to accept fault or have to change or accept the fact that they have flaws within themselves. They get to live in this little world, this little bubble, or unicorns and rainbows, or in the famous words, a house. Aren't you a ray of delusional sunshine? And it's things like this that keep women from growing as human beings to be to their full potential. Because even when they get to CEO positions, they typically have the same mentality. Now, there are a very, very small percentage of women who are running companies who don't have this mentality, but a large chunk of them still have this mentality. Instead of changing and making it better, it's all emotions and wanting to protect their own emotions and how they feel about how people feel about them, because they want to protect their image, because women are more so, they want to be agreeable and they want to be accepted by everyone no matter if they like it or not. Like even the Sims, even men, all men, women want attention and they want to be accepted by men and they want to know that they look good and stuff like that.